Hey everyone, how's it going? So let's hop right in. I know we've missed a couple of lunar cycles, but we're going to start with where we are. So, being that we are still in the energy of the summer solstice, yay! In the sign of Cancer, it's only right to have a full moon in the opposite sign, which is Capricorn. Now, I want to give this caveat: we are navigating with whole sign Pleiades astrology right now. We're looking at the night sky. We're not doing some people call it sidereal or sidereal. We're not doing that right now. What we are navigating is Western Pleiades. Okay, so that being said, I'm saying that because there's a lot shifting right now in the world of astrology with the addition of the 13th astrology sign, and whether or not we need to start adding in some other ones from antiquity, and how does it shift, and all the things. So I'm just giving you all, I don't want to say the tried and true, but what we all have kind of grown accustomed to being the Western version of astrology, okay? If you're looking for a Vedic astrology interpretation, I'm not your woman right now. That being said, Capricorn. Capricorn is the sea goat. Capricorn traditionally rules the 10th house, which is all about career, foundation, how you show up and create a legacy and foundation for yourself, all right? That being said, it governs body zone 10, which deals with the knees, patella, all like the MCL, ACL, like all those cruciate ligaments. And cruciate, for those of you who are wondering in medical terminology, means cross, right? And so when you look at all those ligaments, if you ever take gross anatomy, it looks like a cross, right? So M meaning medial, your MCL is medial cruciate ligament. Your ACL is your anterior or in front of, right? So one in the front, cruciate ligament. Your PCL, posterior, so behind, cruciate ligament. LCL is lateral cruciate ligament. And they all are responsible for making sure knees are nice and in the right place, right? And so whenever you see athletes do, like, you ever hear doctors or nurses or anybody who's like in sports medicine watch an athlete kind of go like jostle their knee, and they're like, oh, right? Typically we're thinking like immediately like you've just completely and utterly like decimated like one of those cruciate ligaments, okay? Well, Capricorn is responsible for that. Why? Because Capricorn is all about structure. So it only stands to reason that it is responsible largely for your skeletal system as a whole, right? Specific body zone, though, would be knees, joints, ligaments, tendons, and all those things, right? But structure. Capricorn gives structure. It's also it's traditionally ruled by the 10th house and Saturn. So, or it rules the 10th house and is ruled by Saturn. Brain. So that being said, Saturn is all about government, order, structure, karma, time, right? All the things that give things shape and form. Keep this in mind when we talk about this particular full moon, especially during this hazy period of what has already kind of been this second half of the, or beginning half of the year, but second portion of the beginning, if that makes sense. Something else that I just learned by navigating and reading and soaking up my new medical astrology book, which is so dope, is that it actually is noted for Capricorn, that is noted for governing the anterior portion of the pituitary gland. Now, your pituitary gland is responsible for so much. I'm not even going to go into all that. But the anterior portion of your pituitary gland is about 80% of pituitary gland, which is a lot of people know about it from the standpoint of metabolism, right? Lactation, reproduction. When you start going through your, going through puberty, pituitary gland has a lot to do with that, right? Hormones and all the things. But also stress and trauma. Have you ever met a stressed out Capricorn? It ain't fun. So, I brought that up because this is a time where everybody is feeling the need to not necessarily go and be exuberant like they normally would be. It is a time to be prudent, to fall back, to reassess, to streamline, to focus, to organize, to channel, to create with intention and with boundaries. That means creating anything new as far as your business. That means if you're looking at creating a business for the first time, or like a nonprofit, what are your articles of incorporation? What's your mission statement? And these are checks and balances that are not just about the outside world engaging you, but how do you engage the outside? It's about you being able to tap into your own personal boundaries and limitations and actually saying and giving them to you, right? Giving yourself limitations, saying, you know what, we're on a peopling budget. I can't talk to more than 5 people a day while between the hours of 9 and 4, because I know I need to be focused on da 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 da. I know that if I don't go for a jog, on my lunch hour, I'm a grumpy person. So I need to make sure that I'm budgeting my time to accommodate that. I know that if I go to Target, I will blow through my savings and will justify every purchase for something that may or may not happen in the future. So what I need to do is put something on a gift card and give myself $30 to blow. That way, in case I go to Target and I see something I need or want, I've released the valve. I hope that makes sense, because Capricorn gets a bum rep for being this miserly control freak, which sometimes they can be. There's some truth in that. But I will also say there is a time and a place for that, where sometimes you got to reel in and say it's not necessarily about how I deeply feel on an intuitive level, but it's really more so about what's really needed in this moment, right? Yes, I can acknowledge I have feelings. However, how can we navigate this space, right, more efficiently? So that way there's more space for me to be in my feels later and not feel so consumed with, oh my God, I have all these things that have to get done in the concrete world, but I am not able to actually be in my feels. And then you combust, right? The other thing too I want you to think about when it comes to Capricorn is, if you are naturally an ambitious person, what have your ambitions, right, where have they brought you? Meaning you can go a really long, far way and it not necessarily be in a direction that is healthiest for you. Or you can go in the opposite direction and it actually be the best thing for you. So how have you allowed your ambitions to take you? And have they been unchecked? Have they been unchanneled? Have they been without structure? Like, do you need to kind of rein them in? Or have you been the opposite end of the spectrum, where you're a person who typically is not very ambitious and is not an A-type or is not a go-getter by societal standards, and you feel as if maybe you need to get a little bit more fire under your butt, or maybe you need to do a little bit better of a job of thinking about what it means for you to show up in the world and how you want to create a legacy. I feel like Capricorn energy is an energy that right now you take it or you leave it. Meaning you're either going to pick up the reins and take the message and the energy and allow it to move you forward and to feel empowered by, I don't want to just use the word work because it has a very visceral reaction even for me, right? A recovering overachiever. But are you willing to put in the investment, right, through your acts toward your goal so universe and spirit can match you? Or is it time for you to sit back and be a little bit more receptive, right? And be intentional with how you are receiving. Hence, taking up the mantle and doing the things, or leaving it, meaning a sense of trust. I will also mention that at the end of the day, when it comes to this, I was looking into what herbs would support you, what gemstone allies we should have, and there were 2 things that came through. One would be citrine. Now, we all know that Capricorn is about their bag and about their time, okay? Citrine is also really great when it comes to the solar plexus, all right, which is much lower, but I wanted to make sure that you all could see it, okay? So, we want to make sure that we are not only securing the bag, but securing resources, okay? It's one thing for you to be overly ambitious or overly receptive, but not really have checks and balances around it. I like citrine for its fortification, for its ability to kind of have that hot and cold. So in the middle, you got cool, right? It's about balance, more so than people give it credit for. Everybody thinks about it just being purely fire, but I think that citrine is actually, or I found in my work that it's really good for helping to balance that need to achieve while also being in a receptive state. It helps with flow and currency. And then I will go to anything in the Jasper family, right? Jaspers are really great because they have a really great feminine energy, and Cancer and Capricorn both are feminine signs in nature. It's a really great feminine energy while also being foundational, right? It's a great stone to help fortify joints, right? So working with it and wearing it can help with joints. It helps with helping you to anchor to your truest form of yourself. So if you're a person who struggles with like public speaking or navigating anything that involves you being in the limelight, or you feel that you at times can be very impressionable when you're around other people, and there's no harm in that. I just want to put that out there. We all have our things, right? If you ever feel like you have a hard time, especially in group dynamics, holding true to your core and your center and not feeling the need to people please, Jaspers are really great stones to work with. There's several stones that are in the Jasper family. I personally would go with something like your true Jasper. I have a Moroccan Jasper that I like. Jade is in the Jasper family. Anything like that, right? Things that are going to help you fortify and stay strong and stand true and firm in who you are and where you're going. And even if you feel like you're in a period in your life where you're not quite sure where you're supposed to go, don't worry about it. Jasper's got your back, because it's going to help you to recognize that it's okay to stay put, because sometimes staying put is where opportunity is able to find you. Keep your gazes forward. I hope this was helpful.